Well, Culver's didn't start out as a billion-dollar brand. It began as a small restaurant in Sauk City, Wisconsin that nearly failed in its first year. But through persistence, purpose, and culture, rooted in hospitality, Craig Culver built something far greater than a restaurant chain. He built a legacy. In this episode, I sit down with Craig Culver, co-founder of Culver's Restaurants, to explore how humble beginnings, hard lessons, and heartfelt leadership created one of the most respected brands in America. From working the fryer at age 11 to leading more than 1,000 locations nationwide, Craig's story reminds us that leadership isn't about control. It's about consistency, compassion, and care. We talked about the early setbacks that nearly ended it all, the lessons that Craig learned from his parents about serving others, and why culture just isn't a buzzword. It's your competitive edge. His philosophy is simple. When you take care of your people, success takes care of itself. So if you think fast food is just burgers and fries, this conversation will remind you that leadership, when done right, always leaves something better behind. My name is Chief Randy Bruegman, and this is the Leadership Crucible Podcast.
There are moments in every person's life when they face intense adversity. They're crucibles that forge who they become as individuals and as leaders. Now more than ever, we need leaders who are called to a higher standard, focused on leaving it better than they found it, and paying it forward to the next generations. Now, let's join Fire Chief Randy Bruegman as he speaks with leaders from all walks of life, as he explores and learns from their personal journeys and the crucibles that have forged them into better leaders and better people.
Craig, thanks for being on the Leadership Crucible Podcast. It's a pleasure to have you on and to see you again.
Good to be here. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Well, take me back to the early days when you joined your father in the business, and I know you faced some real challenges that first 2 to 3 years just staying in business.
Well, it goes much further than that. Mom and Dad, I was 11 and my brother was 9 when they bought a little A&W in Sauk City, right where Culver sits today.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the start of the food service business with the Culver family. It's 1961, little A&W and right on Highway 12, as I said, and that's what got it all started. I swore I'd never stay in the food service business, but guess what? I did.
Well, and I would imagine that during that time you were working in all the restaurants, probably even at 9, 10, 11, right?
My brother and I both were, and I joke, but it's no joke. I'm pretty sure it was illegal for a 9 and 11-year-old to be working. But when I share our story with our managers and owners alike, it's kind of like farming, family businesses. Everybody goes to work. Everybody pitches in, and that's what they do on the farm. And that's what a lot of family businesses do as well. Everybody's involved. And here at Culver's today, I mean, we've got lots of families. And now as we've matured over the years, we've got the next generation stepping up and taking over the family business, which is really, it's really rewarding to me to see that happen. And you know what? And many times I've heard, well, the second generation or the third generation doesn't have the same passion. That, in our case, that is not true. We're seeing the next generation come through with the same passion that their parents had for the business.
Yeah.
And like I said, that's very rewarding to see. And they've got the passion, they've got the culture, and that's why we thrive at Culver's, because we've got people with passion, and they've got the culture, and they believe in people. They believe in people, and they share their hearts with others.
Well, I think that's true. We're going to dive into that in a little bit, but I want to know how you got from the A&W to Culver's. There's got to be a transition point there.
Well, there is, and in 1968, that's the year I graduated from high school here in Sauk Prairie. I'm sitting in Sauk Prairie right now. But 1968, my dad decided to sell the A&W, and I was just sharing this story earlier this morning. We've got a franchise class here, and I always share our history with the managers and the future franchisees. In 1968, I graduated from high school, went off to college. Dad decided to sell the A&W, and which I didn't care. This was not going to be my vocation. And
Hmm.
when I went off to college, UW Oshkosh, got a degree in biology of all things, not business, not hospitality. And don't ask me where I was going because I wasn't sure. But I've never left the food service business. My dad, being the entrepreneur that he was, once he sold the A&W, couldn't sit still, and he bought a resort at Devil's Lake State Park called the Farm Kitchen Resort, and he had that for wonderful place, by the way, and he had that for another 6 years. We did, I should say, because all the kids, my brother and sister, they were working in it as well. Seasonal resort. When I finally graduated from college, my dad was having health issues, and he was going blind, and he was always hard of hearing from birth, and so he had some, you know, that he had some strikes against him health wise, and
Hmm.
stopped him from being an entrepreneur and a very successful one. But um, when he decided to sell the farm kitchen because of health reasons, going blind, he recognized something in me that I didn't recognize, and I had a passion for that place. I have a passion for this business. I love working with people. I love working with food, and Dad recognized it. I didn't, and anyway, I cool after my degree, and Dad sat me down. He said, "Son, would you be interested in taking over the farm kitchen resort?" And I told my dad no. And it's one of the great regrets I have is telling my dad no with this opportunity placed in front of me. I was sending resumes out everywhere and
Hmm.
not get not getting any responses from anybody. My dad, he was there for me, and he wanted me to take over the farm kitchen, but I told him no because I didn't want to be mom and dad. And the rest is, well, not there's more to the story, obviously, but I ended up going to work for McDonald's, spent 4 years with them, and after 4 years with them, the entrepreneurial spirit was burning within me. I was becoming my father, and with the help of my father, we bought the A&W back for the second time, sold that 6 years later, uh, and a couple years after that, uh, we created Culver's. That was 1984 when Culver's was birthed.
Wow. Yeah, amazing. And I don't imagine when you opened the first Culver's that you had any idea that you would be where you're at today. Or did you?
Oh, I'd love to tell you that we had a grand plan, but that would be a lie. Uh, the plan was at that time to move back to our hometown of Sauk City in Sauk and create this business, be part of the community, the churches, the schools, and that was the plan anyway, and to live happily ever after. The story is we just about didn't make it through that first year.
So, if you go back during that time frame, what leadership values have you carried forward in Culver's today that you learned then?
My core leadership skill, I believe, is believing in what I'm doing or what we're doing. Uh, have a strong belief in that. Leading by example. That was my parents. They
Mm.
always led by example. I guess I kind of duplicated that with them to do whatever it takes. If you believe in what you're doing, I believe it's easy to do whatever it takes. And in our case, for the first year of Culver's, when we were losing money hand over fist, and um, man, I was close to throwing in the white towel. And
Uh-huh.
but I had family around me supporting me, saying, "Craig, we're going to do whatever it takes." That family value has led me on for years and years and years to do the right thing. Try and do the right thing. Do we always do the right thing? No, we don't. When you don't, you learn from it. And I have certainly tried to learn from it in life and in business.
I see that reflected in your stores, in your restaurants, and when you walk in the door, you feel like you're being welcomed by a family member.
Well, I hope that is the feeling because that's our aim, certainly. We believe in our team members
Mm-hmm.
and we believe in our guests. And I believe when your team members know that the leadership believes in them, they will take care of our guests like my mother was taking care of them. That's what I believe in. And we've got a lot of people that have, I wouldn't say bought into that. They believe in that. They believe in what we do at Culver's. And we're a charitable bunch too. We really are. We give back in so many different charitable events, and which we feel very good about. And
Mm-hmm.
that culture is, we have 1,031 restaurants. That culture is there in every one of those
Yeah.
restaurants. Yeah, doing the right thing, taking care of our team members, taking care of our guests. Please, thank you. My pleasure. And it comes from me. We are not perfect by any means, though. But there's always work to do. There always is. But I'll tell you what, we got a lot of people that really care.
No, yeah, yeah. I mean, I've been in several of your restaurants across the country, and the feeling is always the same.
Thank you.
So I think that's a testament to the culture that you built. And your name's on over 1,000 stores now, but how do you build that culture in every one of those stores? What's your what's your secret sauce there?
Not sure I had that secret sauce to begin with. I had, I'm a little bit of my father and I'm a lot of my mother. And I think that's the secret sauce right there. My dad was both of them very hardworking, but my mom, she did lead by example. When somebody walked into one of our businesses, let's say whether it was the original A&W, the Farm Kitchen Resort, the Little Ritz Supper Club we had in Baraboo, my mom was there to greet them like she had known them for years.
Hmm.
And and that wasn't necessarily the case. She wasn't terribly good at names, but the guests didn't know that. They thought mom really did know them for years. And we talk about that all the time at Culver's. And how do we take care of our guests when they come into our restaurants? Are we greeting them? Are we thanking them? And when they leave, are we thanking them as well? That was my mom. That mom. And my dad was, he was the entrepreneur. He was the businessman. He was the recipe guy and stuff, and the foodie, and lots of good ideas came from my father. You know, quality is such a big deal to us at Culver's, and it is with our competitors as well. But one of the things I remember with my father when we had the Farm Kitchen Resort. Saturday night was prime rib night at the Farm Kitchen Resort. Was at the Ritz too, in Baraboo, and or every supper club in Wisconsin certainly. But I remember we charged significantly more for prime rib on Saturday nights than our competitors did. And I sat down with Dad one time. And I said, Dad, what's going on? Why can't we be more competitive on our pricing? And he shared the quality story with me. He said, Craig, we're buying this, something up here,
Hmm.
and our competitors are buying something else, and we got to charge for what we're buying because we're gonna serve the best. That's what we're gonna do, and that sticks with me yet here at Culver's today. We're gonna serve the very best we can, and I was just sharing with our team members this morning. we're higher priced than most of our competitors are. And if we're higher priced, yeah, we better be serving the best. But you know what? What else we better be serving is our hospitality to go along with it. We better be saying please and thank you and my pleasure. And we better mean it. It's got to come from the heart. Otherwise, we're faking it, and customers can read through that in a heartbeat. So, yeah, I mean, those core principles, I learned from my parents a long time ago.
Yeah, quality product and the friendliness that you know have built through the franchise is really I guess the secret sauce.
Seems so simple, but it isn't. And you know, culture is so important to us. And you know, we've got a great culture at Culver's. We really do. I'd put it up against just about anybody's. But I don't want to just maintain our culture. I want to grow our culture. How do we continue to grow our culture? That's our competitive edge. It
Yeah.
really is.
Well, and most companies don't look at it that way. They look at just building a culture one time and not continuing to really focus on and invest in that.
Got to continue to invest in it. And that investment is time and energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, might be some money behind it as well, but that's money well spent. But the time and energy you put into it, that's that's the real deal right
Yeah.
there.
Well, you touched on it. We all learn things the hard way sometimes. And what was one of those early leadership lessons that you've taken, throughout your career and said, I'm not going to do that again?
I used to think, and this is going to sound a little odd to you, to your audience, but I used to think the most important person in our business was the guest, was the customer. I learned a long time ago that the most important person in our business, yes, the guest is very, very important. Don't get me wrong here,
Yeah.
but our team members are the most important people in our business. I didn't learn that right away. That took some time for me to say, hey, I got to take care of our team. They're the ones that really make it happen. And like I just said a little while ago, if they know that we care that much about them, they're going to take care of our guests like my mom was taking care of them. That's what I believe.
Yeah.
And that lesson took some time. And that is leadership, I believe. That's learning in leadership. Your energy, your enthusiasm, your leadership drips down to the people around you. And when they feel that, and that energy coming from the leadership, um, I'll tell you what, it strengthens them. They start to develop their own leadership skills, as a matter of fact. And by the way, that's a responsibility of leadership is is to grow the people around them and
Mm-hmm.
grow leadership skills around them. We're not going to be here forever, right?
Yeah.
Somebody is going to have to take your place at some point in time. And the way we've grown at Culver's is just by that, dripping down to people around us. And we've got, oh, several hundred people that started with us when they were young, when they were 15, 16, 17, 18 years old. And today they're owners of their own Culver's restaurants.
Yeah.
That's another place where I'm very honored and proud of as well. And that's how we continue to grow our culture. It's people that have been with us for a
Yeah.
long time. Nothing wrong with new people getting involved with us. We love that as well. But we've got lots of people that have been with us for long periods of time. And they're sharing their culture with the people around them.
Well, I mean, that's a real testament that you had people that started, when they were in high school, and their vision became, I want to own a Culver's restaurant and continue to be part of this process. That's amazing.
We've had people over the year, they've been in college, they work with us through high school, now going to college, and they've come to us and say, I want to open a Culver's. Our response is get back to school, finish your college, then come back to us. But there's cases as well where, um, college wasn't for them,
Mhm.
and you can get your education working at Culver's just as well, as a
Oh yeah.
matter of. But I love formal education as well.
So, at some point, um, you just stop being a restaurant. You really have become part of the community fabric in the cities and townships that you operate in. And so tell us a little bit about that move, because I think that's really important. I think that's really part of who you are.
Well, you say cities and communities. We started in a small town,
Hmm.
Sauk City, Sauk, and as we expanded into, Baraboo and Reedsburg and all basically rural small towns. And the thinking was that, we'll take our small community roots and grow our culture that way. And you can't get that in a big city. Well, I say baloney to that. We've got restaurants in Chicago and Milwaukee and uh, lots of Minneapolis, lots of big cities where the culture is as strong there as it is in small town Sauk City and Sauk, Wisconsin. And I'm, you know, people are people, and
Yeah.
people want to do good, and people they want to follow a good leader as well, and that's how we've grown Culver's over the years. Is by being who we are, regardless of small town or big city. We believe strongly in the communities that why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to be part of the community? It's crazy to just go into a community and not be part of it. We're opening a restaurant someplace. First thing we got to do is join the Chamber of Commerce, be part of that. Get involved with the schools. That's so important as well. Be part of the community and just about any way you can. Now, opening a brand new restaurant, it's not easy to write a check, to every organization and
Hmm.
fundraising organization that comes to you. But can you share a little bit of your time? I think time is the most important thing I own. As a
Yeah.
matter, it's easier for me to write a check than it is to give them my time. As a matter, but for our young operators, can you give a little bit of your time to different different events that are going on in your community? Share nights. Share nights are something we do in our restaurants, just about all of our restaurants, where we're giving back to different events in the community. Um, 10% of our sales, 25% of our sales. In a number of cases, we've given 100% of our sales,
Mm.
uh, different events going on in the community. So being part of that community, yes, we want to be part of the fabric of the community, and we want to earn our way into the community, and we work at that.
Yeah, I think that's what. Yeah, I think that's part of that. What separates you from many other organizations is that's just part of who you are.
It is, and some communities. I got to be careful what I say here. Uh, some communities, it's a little harder than others, and but we'll win them over time.
Yeah.
Win them over time. So
Well, yeah, I can. I know what you're talking about because I've worked in several, and they all have a kind of a different culture, different environment, and different expectations of their business community.
they do.
When you're hiring and promoting people, what qualities are you looking for in them?
I always thought I was pretty good at that. I always thought I could sit down with somebody, for spend 5 minutes with them, and I pretty much know where their heart is. I don't. I'm not involved in the hiring process other than hiring a new CEO or something like that. But I used to sit down with our franchisee candidates before they become franchisees of ours, and I thought that was very important. We still do it. Our executives within our organization sit down with every candidate that is interested in becoming a franchisee of ours. But I always thought I knew where their heart is. I wasn't wrong too many times.
Yeah.
There were times that I was wrong. I was really disappointed that it didn't work out for somebody. But that's a quality again. I think leaders have is they can read somebody's heart pretty well and bring the right people aboard. But there'll be times when you bring the wrong people aboard, and in those cases, it's not good for anybody. It's not good. In this case, Culver's, and it's not good for that person as well. In the case of franchisee that comes aboard and it's not working out, well, it doesn't work out for us as Culver's, and it doesn't work out for that person being a franchisee because they spent millions of dollars on opening a business, and it's out. So they may end up losing money. But that's why we're so cautious about awarding franchise. And I say award. You don't buy a franchise from us, or you're awarded a franchise from us. It costs you something, but still, we're awarding you a franchise. We want to make sure we're awarding the franchise to the right people. But like I said, it's a quality that leaders have where they can read somebody's heart and make sure they're inviting the right people aboard.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really true. I look back at all the people that I've hired and promoted, and I'd like to say I'm at about 85 to 88%.
Well, you're doing pretty good then.
Yeah. But, there were a few that snuck by.
And that happens. And one of the things I'm very proud of at Culver's is, we've got 1,031 restaurants open today, and we'll be opening more over the course of the year. But we have closed very few restaurants over the 41 years we've been in business. Very few. And, that means we have been bringing in the right people aboard. Yes, if you got a lot of money, you can just buy into our franchise, but that's not the way we operate. You gotta be awarded the franchise. In other words, you gotta have the heart as well.
Hard to do it. Yeah. Yeah. Very important. I think that's definitely separates you from many other franchise ownerships. So humility is, a really important aspect of being a good leader. How do you stay grounded?
People around me?
Yeah. They have a tendency to do that.
Hey, Craig, get down off your ladder.
Yeah.
I think generally, I do try to stay humble. And even though, I just said how many restaurants we have, I never dreamt of having that many restaurants. I never dreamt of 2 restaurants, much less over 1,000 restaurants. But I know you can get knocked off that ladder. I know even though we've got over 1,000 restaurants, I still know you can go backwards. And that keeps me humble. I still know you can fail. That keeps me humble. And that keeps me, even though I'm not day to day any longer, I'm still probably working 3 days, 4 days a week. And because I think all entrepreneurs are afraid of failing. They are.
Mm-hmm.
I know it can still happen. I've seen competitors of ours that have thousands of restaurants. And I remember those people. And I'm not going to mention any names, but today they've been beat back to where they have maybe a half or a third of what they had back 10 years ago. So I know that can happen if the leadership doesn't stay focused and operate as we think we should operate and maintain our core values and grow our culture. Never stops. You've got to be focused on that on a daily basis.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I wonder if you went back and looked at some of those that have experienced that failure, if it directly relates back to their lack of investment into their culture to maintain their business strategy?
It's always about leadership, Randy. It's
Yeah.
always about leadership. And if the leadership loses focus, in our case, so will the whole chain of restaurants.
Yeah.
We can't afford for that to happen.
Yeah. So what do you hope for the next generation of Culver leaders?
Everything I've been talking about. And I think we're in a pretty good place. Rick Silva recently retired from us in March of this past year. And he let me know that well ahead of time. And Rick was a good CEO. He really was. And but he let us know well ahead of time. So we started a national search, and we had a couple candidates from outside of the company and several from inside the company that were interested in that role. Well, we elected Julie Fusner. Julie had been with us for 8 years. She was a VP of marketing when she came on with us. She was promoted to chief marketing officer a couple years ago. We selected Julie to run our company. She's got her culture. She's smart. She's uh, I I've said this to our team a number of times. I am more excited about the growth and the future of Culver's than I have been in a number of years. Uh, there's a optimism in this building. There's an optimism in our chain of restaurants that I am just so jazzed about.
Yeah.
I'm very, and not that we were going in the wrong direction or anything before, but I just think we're more alive right now than we have been in years. So I'm excited. I
Well,
am. And we're
well,
still family owned. And that's something I'm very proud of as well.
and you should be. I mean, I think the what you've built is an amazing story. So it's really a testament to the American dream.
It's not me, it's us, what we've built. And it's always about more than one person. It always is. And
Mhm.
I've been fortunate with family around me. I've been fortunate with great uh, team members at Culver's, great owners at Culver's. So we do this and we've done this. So we got to keep doing this.
Well, I have a final question for you today, and this would be a piece of advice for maybe our next generation of leaders who have a dream, but they just really haven't found their voice yet. Really don't know, what that next step is for them. What would you have wished? Because I think you went through a little bit of that when you were younger. I know I did.
This might surprise you, but listen to their gut, listen to their spirit. I'm reading a book right now. Dave Gary. Do you happen to know Dave Gary?
I don't
Dave
know
owns
Gary. I've heard
Dave
of him.
owns the Princeton Club. Dave, can you read that?
Yep.
Well,
Well,
you
you
put
put me
me
first.
first. Dave put God first, is what he did. God, Dave's an amazing guy, and in many of his decisions, Dave put God first. I can't say the same back when. I can't. But as I grew a little older and wiser, um, you know, I know how important my spiritual being is.
Mm-hmm.
Just talking about this again earlier this morning with the franchise calls. Balance of life is very, very important.
Yeah.
And it's in my case, I was way out of balance. I was. It was how do I grow Culvers, 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 um, and when you get way out of balance, you're not as good a husband or wife as you should be. You're not as good to your children, not as good a dad or mother as you should be. You're probably not as good to yourself as you should be.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not as good to your spiritual life as well. And as I said to the class this morning, I know, and these people will all be opening new restaurants. So when you open a new restaurant, I mean, you got to put your heart and soul into it. I know that. Work will be demanding. It's going to take up a great deal of time, and it is going to steal you away from your family and other parts of your life. But over time, can you find a little more balance in your time? And that's why it's so important that we develop people around us that can take over a little bit of your time in running the business and run it as well as you do. And so that balance thing is so important. And I'm still out of balance. I mean, still yet today I am. And I do have such a passion for what we do at Culver's. And I, I just find it, what we do I love it so much. But yet I know how important the rest of my life is as well. And I try and find more time for that. So I'm not sure if I answered your question or not, but uh, yeah, I do. I'm not I don't, I don't make it church every Sunday. I don't do that, but I still know how important my God is to
Yeah.
me.
Yep. Well,
To him every night, and that He will direct me in the right direction each and every day with these decisions we make at Culver's and in our lives as well.
well, really great advice. I think not only the spiritual piece, but I think the balance piece. It's really easy to get out of balance. I think most of us have been there. Some of us still struggle with it. I know I do at times. Still, I'm supposed to be retired, but I'm not. So, it's just the way it is. You follow your passions, and you have things that you want to get done, and so you get really focused on it.
And you're right. That's just kind of the way it is. And
Yeah.
you got to live with it. But yet over time, can you change it a little bit? Can you make it a little more balanced throughout your life?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, great advice. Craig, thanks so much for coming on the podcast and just sharing your journey. I just think it's
My pleasure.
fascinating, and I think what you've done and what your family's done and what you brought to so many people in the investments that you're making in the next generation of leaders and sending them out into the world is impressive. So we thank you for doing that.
Thank you so much. It's as I tell our team, it's a lot more than just selling butter burgers and frozen custard. There's a lot more to it than that, and happiness goes along with that. So,
Yeah. Appreciate you, Craig, and thanks for all you have done and continue to do.
thank you, Randy. Take care.
Okay, you too. Thank you for joining us on the Leadership Crucible Podcast. If you enjoyed today's content, make sure you tap on the subscribe button, share this with a friend, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. For more resources, check out the description below, sign up for our monthly newsletter, and visit our website at theleadershipcruciblefoundation.org. Feel free to leave us a comment and connect with us on social media at the links below. We'll see you next time.